everyone. I'd like to welcome you to this panel on arts and new media in the changing Arab world. And I'd like to welcome Farah, Peter, Lina. Shady back there is working on a technical issue. And the Arab world is changing, and so is its media. And also the reader has changed. I mean, you no longer have this reader who can afford to read 1,500 words in one block in any topic. You actually have the reader's attention span for no more than 5 to 10 seconds. You either have the reader or you lose him. And so, I mean, we as media journalists are experimenting with new techniques, from graphics to small stop motion movies to videos to cartoons, memes, so many things to try and grab the reader's attention. The reader is bored, tired, and has a lot to do. On my right is Farah Wael, one of the founders of Medina website. It's a very new website in terms of everything. It follows the city through images, voices, videos, the stories of the city itself. And Peter Snowdon is a filmmaker, and he teaches film in Leiden. And Lina Attalah is a talented journalist and the founder, publisher, and editor-in-chief of Mada, Masr, also a very innovative website. And the newest addition is something that has become an addiction to every Egyptian, the Big Brother videos that she's going to show us. And back there is Shady Noor, who is a memer. He's going to explain that in a bit when he finds the images. And Lina, would you like to start? What are the new tools that you've been using in Mada Masr and why?
Sure, I'm trying to find my video. Okay, so we're not inventing the wheel, but you know, as a very traditional kind of journalist, I had to come to terms with the fact that, to succumb to the fact that people like videos more and like visuals more. Not that I hate them, but I just hate doing bad images just because there is this idea that people like videos or prefer videos over text, and you know, my investment over the years has been how to actually work on very nice long-form texts, for example, and how to make people regain, you know, their relationship with good journalistic text, simply. So you know, I've been trying to ride against the wave, but at the same time, there is value to producing interesting images and interesting visuals, and we only at Mada Masr started investing in this form when we felt we could have something a little bit different to offer, something a little bit, something that also holds the integrity of the image, and that also thinks of content particularly for image. Because I have a also strong position in this against this idea of doing a replica on the web of television culture, especially that the television is there. People can go watch television and can use the web for something else. Lina wanted me to also give examples of some of the things that we are doing in images that basically also sort of deal with the political situation and the censorship in particular. And you know, one of the things we started doing last year was this web series, if you may, this series on the web in video. It basically capitalizes on the personality of a lead artist who works with us, who's also who started off as a cartoonist, and became many other things, and basically developed a character. And we call it an alter ego of his. What it does basically is that it simulates the logic of the state in a cartoonish and exaggerated way. So, you would see him in a monologue on a set that we designed for him on a weekly basis, basically lecturing us as if he is someone working for the president or for the authorities, oftentimes actually screaming at us and giving us lessons as how we should be better citizens. The show is called Big Brother, and the alter ego is our big brother who has advice for us on pretty much everything, right? So, and every episode in the last season is dedicated to solving one of the nation's problems, so the health problem, the education problem, and all that. So maybe, there's no better way than showing it to talk about it. So I'm gonna show you just a little bit of one of the episodes. I have to say that we had to invest a lot in trying to translate the satire to English to, give it a bit more sense, but it's a very local sort of satire. So again, the translation doesn't give full justice, but it's a process that we worked on a lot. So I feel there is something working here that I need to stop. Yeah.
مساء الخير. لاحظت كده انه احيانا بعض الناس بتمتعض او بتستاء لما بقول في بدايه الحلقه ازيكم يا، فعشان كده قعدت افكر طب هل لو انا ما قلتش ازيكم يا فالناس اللي بتتكسف من لما بقول ازيكم مش هتتكسف، فبالتالي مثلا ممكن تشير الحلقه الافكار العظيمه اللي في الحلقه توصل لقطاع اكبر من الجماهير، ولا لو انا برضو ما قلتش ازيكم فمحدش هيشير ولا حاجه، لانه الانسان بطبيعته كائن سلبي طفيلي، يعني بيعز عليا طبعا زعلكم لان انتوا في النهايه حبايبي بالرغم من كل شيء وبالرغم من الاحتقار الدفين اللي عندي تجاهكم، ولهذا السبب قررت انه هذه الحلقه مش هقول في بدايتها ازيكم يا. موقع قذر من المواقع القذره الزباله بتاعت الغرب القذر الزباله عمل تصنيف لاكثر المدن اثاره للاعصاب واثاره للتوتر في العالم. طبعا مصر حصلت على مركز متقدم في هذا التصنيف، وشيء مش غريب طبعا ومش جديد على هذه الاشكال الوسخه القذره الزباله اللي عماله بتفعل ما في وسعها علشان تتامر علينا وعشان تبين ان احنا دوله فاشله ومدينه فاشله والناس فاشله واشكال فاشله. امر متوقع طبعا، وما وراهمش حاجه غير ان هم يتامروا علينا، خاصه احنا كمصريين ومصر كدوله، لان هي الدوله الوحيده دلوقتي اللي واقفه لهم، بتعمل لهمش اللي هم مش عايزينه وما يتعمل. ولكن هذه المره بقى يستخدموا ذكائهم في ان هم يلفتوا النظر الى مشكله حقيقيه على غير العاده، لانهم عاده لما بييجوا بينتقدونا على اشياء وهميه او اشياء غير ملموسه، حقوق الانسان مش عارف ايه، حاجات مش موجوده اصلا في الحياه. انما مشكله زي مشكله الزحمه ديت تقدر بسهوله ان انت تنظر اليها حولك وتقول ايه ده واضح ان في مشكله فعلا في هذه المكان اللي فيه كل الناس دي خير يا جماعه في ايه. من هنا بقى ينبثق السؤال اللي هو بتاع هل الزحمه هي مشكله فعلا ام نقدر نقول ان الزحمه مؤامره؟ الزحمه مش مشكله، الزحمه هي مؤامره، ولكن كونها مؤامره هو في الحقيقه مشكله. بس طبعا زي ما اتعودنا انه مفيش مشكله مالهاش حل، وانا كاخ كبير كلامي غير ملزم، اقول لكم على حل نهائي وجذري لمشكله الزحمه بشكل سريع كده ومقتضب عشان تلحقوا الرز قبل ما يتشرب. قبل ما نتكلم في الحل لابد في البدايه ان احنا ندرس المشكله، ان احنا تعلمنا من قيادتنا التفكير بالطريقه العلميه. لو سالنا نفسنا بالطريقه العلميه ليه؟
So I can give you the website to follow how to solve the traffic problem in your countries if you have a traffic problem in your country, because he has really sound advice. Only if you have traffic problems in your country. So yeah, this is an example. If you want to have a sense of the origins of this character, this is the guy who does these kinds of cartoons. Sorry, I'm trying to get... I don't know what happened, but yeah. So this is the guy who has been drawing cartoons for us for years. This is an example the cartoon he draws for us. You know, you might hear, if you're following on Egypt a bit, that, you know, less and less people are drawing our president in funny ways, and he's one of the few ones who continue to do it. So let's hope he stays sane and safe for a longer time, because he's someone who has been really able to bring some laughter despite everything. The one thing I'll add, and maybe I'll just leave it for my colleagues to give other examples, is that the TV show, not the TV show, I mean the web series, the interesting thing about it is that it started attracting really unusual suspects to our websites, and this is like when I became also convinced that we should just keep investing in different forms, and that, you know, despite my aversion to just producing videos for the sake of it, if we really want to think of, you know, expanding our audiences and thinking of audiences who would not typically come to us just because they are used to who we are, we need to always surprise them and trick them with different forms of productions, and this is exactly what happened with the show Big Brother. So yeah, I'd leave it to the others.
It's really interesting what you said, Lina, that, you know, you're trying to attract more audience. And it's actually a very, very different audience, because, you know, the audience of Mada Masr is an audience that wants real journalism, that wants serious journalism, that wants like these, you know, these 2,000 word, like really, you know, investigative reports that has, you know, that you've been working on for months, and like it's very interesting that, you know, this kind of journalism is attracting more audience. But for you, Farah, you are targeting a whole like new and different audience with this like really integrated all sorts of media together in the same thing. Who are you targeting?
So basically, we're targeting everyone and no one in particular, because we're trying something and we hope it works. We're trying to target people based on their interests, so very specific interests. So we're working on a like huge multimedia research project about train stations in Egypt. So it could interest historians, it could interest urbanists, architects, whoever, but also it could interest people who work in the train stations and train industry in Egypt that no one talks about and no one gives them any attention. So it's kind of playing on both. And the other thing that we're trying to do is we're not only playing around with the subjects, but we're playing around with the content creators themselves. So we're trying to see what can non-journalists add to journalism. So I wanted to also show a video which is really funny that, yeah, the video you showed from Big Brother was about traffic. This one does talk about traffic as well, so I think people will really understand the traffic problem in Egypt. But this video was a graduation project for 3 architecture students. So it's funny, they are architecture students who did a video for their graduation, and we're showing it as part of like an editorial, you know, content-based website. So it's this play around and go around with who's making what is adding to our editorial policies. So we can watch it. It's a bit long, but let's check it out.
غير دلوقتي. ولا اقول لك كفايه عليك دول.
وهتبعدق كل اللي معاك.
يا بنت حق الدخان. يلا بقى باي باي.
لا يا اخويا الدخان اهو.
اتلم بقى مش عاوزك تنزلي الشغل.
فينا بقى أحلى، أفروديت ولا ميرفت؟
ميرفت طبعا.
طبعا. ليه ما عملهاش وش ولا ايدين؟
It's a bit long. You can also check it out. But so this was one of the experiments we're having. I'm going to show you another example, but not really show you the videos. But the other example that I want to talk about is called Hakayat Gamila, or Gamila Stories. And you'll see Gamila is actually sitting right there. And you'd recognize she's always with her phone. And the thing is, so Gamila was a long-time journalist and politician, worked in TV for a very long time. And then when we started Medina, she wanted to do a show for us, for the website. But for many reasons, including security, including funding and financially, it was not sustainable to have like a camera crew and move around Cairo and do the show. So what came out of necessity was that everything's filmed on a smartphone, everything. So this is why you'll see her walking around the festival with her phone for a possible new episode. Yeah. And the thing is, what basically was born out of necessity and need became this project where we could innovate more, and like we all learned new skills that we didn't know and grew in a different way and just take it a bit further and made it a bit interactive, because so it's Gamila's stories, but if you have a story that's relevant, you can also upload your stories and add it, so it's a back and forth between Gamila and everyone else. And I think these are the examples we can show for now, and we can check them out later.
It's very interesting. So, I mean, we are turning into new media to attract new audience, because it's cost effective, and to also, you know, like try to play smart and run from the censorship, assuming that, you know, the humor will be too difficult to understand for the authorities. Peter, you've been seeing a lot of videos coming from the Arab world over the past 20 years or something. What has changed during the past few years, like since the Arab Spring?
Right, that's a big question. My take on this is kind of idiosyncratic and reflects my own personal experience. I'm not a film critic or historian. I'm not an authority on the cinematic production of the Arab countries. I'm a filmmaker who happened to have lived before in Egypt and then to have worked in various areas in the region, including Palestine. And I think that what I can talk about, which I think addresses in part your question, is what we were all in different degrees aware of, wherever we were living in 2011 certainly, and 12, which was this huge outpouring of grassroots video, whatever you want to call it, of people spontaneously taking up their telephone and filming what was going on around them. And I think that more than anything, was a huge shock, not only for the production of images within the Arab world, but globally, in a way that nothing previously had really been, and in a way in which the extensions of the occupation of the squares movement in Europe and North America, with some exceptions, didn't really constitute a continuation of these videos that came out of Tunisia, Egypt, Yemen, Bahrain, Libya, and Syria, was something very, very different. And I don't think I'm the only person who had that sensation. I remember being at a talk a bit like this in Paris in September 2011, and listening to a group of Syrian filmmakers, including Attalah and Osama Mohammed, standing up one after another and saying that this was just, that this was a revolution in the way in which they thought about what it was they were doing as filmmakers, and something that it would take them a long time to absorb and digest and incorporate into their own work. I remember Attalah saying that these filmmakers, so these people who are producing 2 or 3 minute clips on their phones and immediately putting them on YouTube or on Facebook, were for her the heirs of the Syrian documentary movement, in which her deceased husband, Omar Alai, was one of the main figures. The Tunisian film critic Tash Shikawi said something very similar, that this completely changes the way we need to think about images, and in particular the total failure, for instance, in the Tunisian cinema, in the official Tunisian cinema. I mean, the cinema that attracts money, that generates money and attracts it. The total failure of Tunisian's official cinema to predict the events of 2010, 2011, in the way that the conventional view would be that artists who are, although a cultural elite, in some way connected to what is going on in the rest of their country and among their compatriots, would be able to sense, anticipate, prefigure large political and social upheavals. And in fact, what happened in Tunisia with the self-immolation of Mohamed Bouazizi was anticipated in images, but not by the Tunisian filmmakers who screened their films at Cannes. It was anticipated in a short film which I was trying to find this morning and I can't retrieve, but which Tahir Shikawi had pointed me to, which was made by young people who were gathered in a film club in Tunisia and who had made a film about a guy who sets himself on fire several years before 2010, a film that's quite remarkable in its black humor because it ends with a queue of young men at a filling station with cans waiting to get their share of petrol. A film which is extraordinarily prescient, but which existed entirely outside mainstream cinema circuits. So I think that these films in which the people cease to be spectators of their own history and become not only the actors, but also those who represent or who film, who embody in images the same energy which is present in their actions, in their occupations, in their demands, and in all the other aspects of this transformed daily life, of which Tahrir Square in Cairo was the emblem, but which existed in many other places across the region for many months and was repeatedly came back into being despite all attempts to repress it and to marginalize it and to make it disappear. These films are an extension of that. They're not part of the media industry, even if media industries, and whether it's elite filmmakers or international television stations, have their ways of recuperating these images. And in some sense, for me, as a filmmaker, neutralizing what is their greatest shock. And their greatest shock is that these films are just much more powerful than the films we filmmakers make. And yesterday, in a panel which Lina was moderating, we heard Wael Abdel Fattah calling for the destruction of journalism as the only adequate solution to the woes of Egypt. And I think the destruction of the cinema is a wonderful plan, not only in Egypt, but everywhere. I spent several years kind of watching a lot of these videos, partly because I was doing a PhD at the time, and that gives you a certain amount of discretion in how you spend your time before getting up and having coffee and going to sleep, having had too much coffee. And one of the things I did was I tried to make a film which compiled a lot of these videos, which would make it possible for us to sit in a cinema and watch them together for an hour and a half, rather than just in isolation on our screens one at a time. So this film is basically a pretext for watching these videos again and again. And I'll just show a few, 7 minutes, 6.5, 7 minutes of that. We'll see 4 videos. The first from Yemen and the other 3 from Syria. And I think that they grasp they embody in very different ways something of the spirit of that time. I do have traffic videos, yeah? And if I'd been paying more attention during our planning meeting yesterday, I might have realized that that was the most relevant thing to show. But I wasn't. So here are some videos which hopefully have something else to recommend them apart from traffic.
محمد الرباع، الحمد لله على السلامة. ما الذي حصل اليوم؟
يا طويل العمر، الولد حمادة الله يهديه، الولد حمادة قصف الشوكة ويحيى محمد، يا محمد عبد الله فتح جمعية كنعان قال يحرر فلسطين، جاي يحرر الشوكة حقي، بيشوف المرت أغلى شوكة وكيف له ما جاي يحررنا. أنا قصف لها أنا وكسروا لي الغرفة. شوف الغرفة، شوف الغرفة، دخلت من الشباك كلها عرض الجدار إلى هنا. لو طرحت في راسي يا حمادة، لو طرحت في راسي، ما في راسي جبل الصماع، شوف راسي صماع أو زنجبار تنظيم القاعدة بين الشعر. ما بتلاحقني أنا، ما مسوي أنا بدي كلمة، ليش تقابلني برسالة؟ لا بعض ما دخل، بعض الرسائل، بعض من القذائف اللي دخل، ما قلت له أنا بدي كلمة وأنت بترد على الشعب من هذا. هذا انتاري يا حماده اني من قيمه الشعب، من قوته صرتوا تشتروا سلاح، هذا تحاربوا بها خارج، مش تحاربوا بها الشعب اليمني. احمد علي قسما لو ما تجي تصب المفرشه وتغسله، غسل وكوي، المفرشه كان جديد جدا ومعي شهود واثبات على ذلك. ما دخل المفرشه، هل كان مقرر بها؟ هل كان المداكي والوسائد كان مشي تبع شرعيه؟ ما دخل يعني هذا التلفزيون كسرته؟ هل كانوا في زنجبار؟ هل هم تنظيم القاعده؟ مكتوب نوكيا مشو مدري ايش سامسونج مشو مكتوب اسامه بن لادن في التلفزيون. على من؟ صدقني يا عم حماده احنا خرجنا والله لا نسكت ولا نغطي على السنتنا ولا تقدر تسوي لنا حاجه، سوف نقول كلمه الحق، اعجبكم زعلتوا ليش؟ قابلونا الحجه بالحجه، ايش تقابلوا انتوا لنا من هؤلاء؟ لو بعد في راس البنت هذا اختي الصغيره اجي انا اناشد الجامعه العربيه الليله تجتمع عشان المفرشه. ايوه المفرشه جديد، احمد علي قسما صلح المفرشه، يجي يغسل ونظف. حماده يلعب فكذا ها زاد ابو عبد الرسول الله من المعطف يا بخيل يا رسل جديد، هذا معطفه قديم مكسره يا بخيل.
المحلات مغلقه في درعا بسبب
الشر البطاطا
جمعة لا الفضية RPG حمصي.
هاي فكسة الشعر مشان نسوي له جيل.
هذا مسبت للشعر يعني؟
سلاحنا للعرعور.
هذا سلاح روح الخالدية. هاي العرعور. هاي دعي العرعور.
خالدي. الله. قاذف RPG قاذف بطاطا. صناوين
مد الخالدي حمص.
من شو مكون بس؟
الداحة بس الداحة.
وهون شو هذا جوا؟
بلاستيك ورا بلاستيك تبع مي. يلا عيدها.
هلا قاذف فصل.
سكشن.
RPG قاذف فصل.
ولا البصل يخطط ولا عيون تفتح. الله البصل.
اعطيني هلا امي قلت لي هلا الطبخه راحي.
بدنا البيت رجال هلا.
لا هذا ما بيأذي ما بيأذي، هذا غير مضاد الاذى.
اصابات مسلحه. ايه هاي اصاباتنا المسلحه. والله نجننك يا بشار. انت والشبيحه تبعتها.
عصابات خاديل مسلحه.
نص الشارع.
هناك عطل فني الان.
هو اجى الفنان.
ما بشي خالي ما بشي.
هلا وقت صورنا ايوه
فتش
انا ابي وين.
يلا السلام عليكم.
الجمعة البروتوكول الموت. بروتوكول الموت. اليوم بدي الشهر اليوم. بدي الشهر من الوثيقة. بدي الشهر.
طول بالك في الوثيقة.
والله بدي الشهر.
ما بعرف قديش الشهر.
جماعة بروتوكول الموت.
طول بالك. بيعمل لي.
عم بتصور.
معلش احسن. خلينا نشوفها الجامعة العربية الكلاب. الله يلعن الجامعة العربية.
اهداء إلى الجامعة العربية. إيه لا تخاف.
يا اللي بديتي ورا بالأفا شو بيساوي؟ ما في إلا الرومي. من الروم.
جامع قباء.
عدنان.
الإنشاء. الإنشاء.
الله أكبر.
تكبير.
عدنان. لك عدنان وين من الروم؟
جمعة بروتوكول الموت. جامع قباء، إنشاءات، توزيع إجباري، حمص. بس يقول لي حد يدي شهر اليوم.
أبي بقى تعال جينا من هون أبي.
إيه لا تخاف.
Right. So I think for me, what's really striking seeing these videos again is not just the sense that we have access to a dimension of these events that we don't have for the Russian Revolution or the Paris Commune. We have access to not only to the, I don't want to say that these videos are the direct transcription of the experience of the people making them, but they give us a sort of seismographic reading of what it was like to be in the street. And these cameras were in the hands of people who were very various. The first guy we see, Mahmoud Aruba, is a game show host in his professional life in Yemen on a private TV channel. The last guy who's trying to be a citizen journalist and magnificently failing, nobody knows, I guess, who he is. I've never, and the Syrian friends who showed me this video couldn't tell me. And there's also, in all of these three clips, beyond that sort of sense of the lack of filtering by a media elite or by historians or by whatever else, there's also this extremely, I mean, these are all satires against different forms of media for me as well. So I think there's also an extraordinary complexity being composed in the moment. We can talk about that more if there's time, but thank you.
Thank you, Peter, so much. Yes, you brought a very important point, the lack of filters, and you know, like with mainstream media, it's about it's more structured, it's more confirmed, but also you have like, instead of one eye looking at the thing, you have like at least three eyes. You have the sub-editor, the editor, and you know, managing editor, editor-in-chief. So it goes through a lot of filters, and I don't know if this is good or bad, but definitely the new media, like this kind of videos, you know, they engage with a completely different viewer or reader or audience than the one that mainstream media targeting, which brings me to Shady, who's trying to escape. Shady, your memes are targeting, are attracting an audience that you're actually attacking. How does that work? Yes, you can.
Can you guys hear me? Okay, so my name is Shady, and 1 second, thank you. It's for the audience. I make music and I do film, so basically I'm an artist, but here today I'm actually here to talk about something a bit more ridiculous, which is memes, and how important I feel memes are actually becoming. As in, because let me get my notes out. We belittle memes because, you know, it's like a new generation, it's a new millennial kind of thing and all that. But, so I'm really here just to show you memes. No, not yet. No, I want this to be a surprise. No. Okay, so apart from the fact that I'm about to show you a lot of really, really horrible humor, I'll start with just saying that, I feel like mostly all of us kind of have a very political background, and we were active during the revolution and even pre-revolution. But so something really, really special happened during the revolution, where we really, really, really got so much hope, and it was really, really the most amazing thing, because after 30 years of corruption and 30 years of complete horror in the country, something new happened, and we felt that this is great for the future. So we had hope, and then we had freedom, and it was great. It was absolutely the best feeling ever. And then afterwards, so we had elections and all that. I don't mean to give you like a historic, you know, but I kind of have to talk about this so we can get into the next part. Is that our generation, I feel, we felt like so much, and then suddenly things started really, really deteriorating. We started seeing corruption, basically, and I don't want to talk about politics that much because I don't want to get arrested, which is something I also would like to talk about in a while. Which is as well, everything kind of returned back to what it was before, possibly even worse, definitely even worse. And then so something happened. Something happened. I'll just talk for myself, but I know it's not just myself, which is people really lost hope. And I would call it depression, actually. I would call it complete apathy. And with that, speaking on my behalf at least, somehow, some really strange sense of humor started just started building up in me, and then I realized I was like, there must be some really strange connection between depression and apathy and a really disgraceful sense of humor. And then so I started this meme profile, and I was raised in a most of us, I guess, in a much more fortunate kind of environment, because Egypt is, I mean, so many people are below the poverty line, and I'm sure you guys know, it's very, very sad. So in my school, at least, and in my community, you had tons of people that were sons and daughters of very, very rich, and some of which very openly corrupt people, which were part of the regime. So they were actually, they were born and raised in some families that it was just corruption. They truly believe in it, and so it was very, very difficult for a person like me with a political or like an opposition background to actually find some sort of connection between them and I. And then later on, so we completely divided. During the revolution, we completely divided. They were so, we call them fulul. They were so pro-military, you would also call them right-wing. I mean, we're all the same. I mean, it never really changes. There's the right wing and the left wing in every single country. And by the way, this is a very opinionated talk, by the way. So I really, I'm much more leaning to the left, and I very, very much dislike the right. So I found that post-revolution, we started distancing ourselves even more and more. So we were so polarized, and then it starts getting even more polarized, which is very much as what was happening in the States and even in Europe. And then so it just started getting really, really, really bad. I used to write such very, very emotional and very, very serious stuff on like Facebook, and then they would come and hate, and they would never even, we would not relate. There would be absolutely no relation. So elections happened, and they completely screwed us, and we're trying to do something good, and they continually screwed us. Stability, stability, stability. I'm sure you guys know this kind of, it never changes everywhere. And so I realized that I started with this really, really strange sense of humor. More and more things that I wrote just started becoming more and more funny. And somehow I started actually getting their likes. I mean, their likes are very simple, but just, I got surprised. I was like, whoa, you? Really? You're a horrible person. You have supported a military dictator that has seriously, in broad daylight, stepped on, murdered people and ordered the murder of people. I was like, and you give me a like on my political post just because of that little touch of sense of humor, which was really cheap, by the way. And then so I realized that there is a correlation between cheap humor and getting them to understand, okay? And then so that's exactly what happened, is that I realized this, and I started writing more and more kind of humorous and kind of quite like disturbing, funny kind of stuff, and they loved it. And then so I decided I'm gonna make a meme profile, because I started making memes. I started sharing memes, and I started getting more and more of these, how vulgar can I be here? What? Oh, okay, thank you. That was close. more and more of their likes, and it just started getting really strange. And then so I made a meme profile. I put my name on it, and they were enjoying it. They liked it. They loved it so much. And then I think we should start the slides now. Can we press the? And then so I made this. This is quite recent. This is a meme that I made called Tanta Istikrar. Okay, I'm sure we all know what a Tanta is, but in Egypt, Tanta is kind of like, this woman is really the stereotype president supporter, and I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to get arrested on my way back, which I swear I'm not joking. You know, yeah. I made this, and this woman is like the stereotypical. I'm sure you guys like really recognize this hairstyle already. It's you know, it's the Hillary Clinton kind of style, you know, that kind of thing. They are completely pro military, pro stability, pro screw all of the revolutionaries and screw every single person that ever went down to actually ask for rights, or what is this human rights crazy stuff that they're talking about. So they would go El Saghir, which is the guy on this is it's a hair salon, and they love it. They love this hair salon. They love it. And they go, and if you actually step foot there, you are just going to you're going to feel very strange and very, very awkward, because they're just, all of them, they're just dressed in Dior and these diamond stuff, and these horrific sunglasses, which I also put down there. And they are so active on Facebook, and I'm sure this is not just Egypt. Later on, I guess it's probably happened a good like 5 years ago, I think, when the older generation entered Facebook. Tons of them are amazing and everything, of course, what am I saying? But some of which were very, very, the more right-wing people, have this tendency to use caps lock. And like a really bad tendency. And in some of the really elitist groups that for some weird reason I was invited to, for the sake of complete humor, for the sake of boredom actually, I realized that they keep writing such terrifying things, I swear, such very, very terrifying things, all with caps lock. And they'd be like, these traitors, they should be murdered. And then it's like, whoa, you're supposed to be very, very educated and et cetera, et cetera. What are you doing saying crazy stuff like that? And then their children would continue saying stuff like that. And then so I just realized this is getting really, really, really bad. Let's try to find a way to build a connection, because with all due respect to all of my friends and journalists that, by the way, are doing an incredible job. I have no idea how you're not arrested yet. I always wanted to... I'm sorry, I had to say. It's because I really just got to know her. I got incredible, insane. Their writing is incredible, yet could not... it's not reaching this, you know... the stupid people, I'm sorry, this is opinionated, I said from the start, okay? And then so I realized this is really the way to do it. And then so yeah, everybody related, all of them related with this caps lock thing. The Gazir Club is like a sporting club down there, it's like the GSC down there. And Palm Hills is a compound. This is all like very like, you know, very elite, very posh, just really, really nice, cute stuff. But yeah, and you know, all the designer stuff and all the really, really amazing Facebook and all that. But yeah, and that's, by the way, to make this meme, I had to get Hillary Clinton's outfit, by the way. And I had to crop her out, and I had to put that scarf because they love this scarf. We can move to the next one, thank you. Oh no, that's just me. Okay, again, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry I didn't have time to crop my stuff. Okay, so this one, I also was I'm trying to make fun of these people. I really, really am trying to, but it's like, how can I make fun of them without them getting defensive, without losing them, and then just, you know, having the community even more polarized, the country. So we have a problem in Egypt with at least the people my generation, which are like, do you not know who the hell I am? Kind of, what? They're the bros, yes. They go to parties and they're really, really a disgrace. And because they are the sons and family members of tons of the police and people in the regime, they really, but like with all seriousness, have zero limits. They will get away with what? They will get away with murder. How can I make fun of them? I mean, saying serious stuff about them did not work, I swear. Calling them murderers did not work. Calling them anything did not work, so I had to make this. Okay, so they ride these BMWs and they put that screen. What's it called? I know you guys aren't gonna. You can't really find it that funny because you're not Egyptian. So this black what's it called? This black sticky stuff. What is it? Whatever, the one that covers them because they don't want to be seen. What? Oh, thank you. Thank you. And they're speeding, and you know I'm sure you guys already know the gym stuff, you know, the stuff that you find on no pain, no gain, all that stuff. Yeah, so they all go to the gym and they all post that. The Hermes belt that I have, by the way, that I had to destroy after making this meme because my girlfriend pointed it out. By the way, this has to be on the meme. I was like, but I wear it. And she was like, Shadi, has to be on the meme. Destroyed it. It's done. Whatever. Anyways, the polo shirts, the this and that. Oh, and they're really, really sleazy. Really sleazy. So that's them on the beach. They have an obsession with Amsterdam and the gym. And yeah, and they love the beach and they love their beach bods and everything. Okay, we can go to the next picture now. Thank you. Okay, so this one, I did this a while ago. So trying to voice your, this is curated, by the way, because somebody abroad did something similar. And so I was like, well, I can definitely make one which really, really applies, which is trying to voice your opinion without being called a khayn like. And then this is a person trying to, you know, a khayn is a traitor, okay? So this is how hard it is trying to, for a liberal or a leftist to actually say his opinion against the regime or against whatever without being called a traitor. That hard. Mission impossible. Okay, next one, thank you. Okay, now this man, I'm sorry, I could not crop. Okay, now the next point that I want to talk about is that how memes actually cross borders. Memes can cross borders because I believe there are similar people in every single country. In Egypt, this is the equivalent of Donald Trump, just a bit more repulsive, all right? He's disgusting. He's by far the most horrible human being, even though you find him really funny, which I think, which was the problem, by the way, because we all found Donald Trump funny until now he's president. So yeah. But yeah, so he's very much a Donald Trump, and he has a fetish for blackmail CDs. So he gets on television, okay, and whenever anybody's in opposition around him or whatnot, he will always, I swear, he will get out a CD-ROM and he will wag it in the air and be like, oh, I have your CD, huh? You and your, and he does this. He's like, you and you're naked, and oh, you and your woman. And he has an obsession with also talking about your mother, okay? And he actually has spoken about my mother sitting there. By the way, just so you know, I swear, he has spoken about my mother. So this came out of real hate, and it was hard trying to make this funny, okay? But yes, so this is Donald Trump's Make America Great Again, all right? This is his body, this is his thing, his podium, and then so I changed it to Making Your Mother Great Again with his blackmail CD and putting his face on it, because it works so well. I wanted to get a video of him, but since I only make these memes on my phone, and I was a last-minute choice for this panel.
Great choice. Thank you so much.
I'm still not done, by the way. Do we still have?
No.
Okay.
Thank you for joining the panel.
Last minute, but I'm trying.
Even though you're making fun of my symbol, I don't.
Trying to do it now before it screws us at the end. Okay, we can go to the next one. Thank you. Okay, now we can move on to international memes that we can all relate to as well. And this is where, so everything I just showed you, they were actually political memes. Okay, you can calm down now. These were all political memes, but very subtle. These were socio-political memes and socioeconomic memes as well, which because of the women and the over 60 fascist women. There's a journalist in Cairo actually, it's called Sarah Carr, which has the most amazing term for them, which were militants. Okay. So anyways, these were all very socio-political, but now, like, you could see that memes, really, you're hitting the politics, but you're not, but in a subtle way. Now, here is completely direct to do with, well, I wouldn't say politics, but to do with what's going on in the world today. I don't know if you guys heard about the whole Mark Zuckerberg stuff and the Facebook stuff. Yeah? Okay. And yeah, so this is him selling our personal information, our personal lives. And this is him actually getting, this was in Congress, or at the Senate, yeah. Him looking very depressed. So because of course, so this is a meme in a meme, because we all make fun of the fact that tons of people look very different on their Facebook profiles versus what they look like in real life, specifically Tinder, all right? And yeah, so this is him. This is him in real life, yeah. So this is, you're directing a person who really deserves, you know, to be in prison, but we're trying to make a joke out of him so we can actually one day get him in prison. Okay, we can move on to the next one. I'll let this one speak for itself. Okay, just in case, I know I don't have to explain a meme, I'm trying my best not to, but you know the way on Facebook where you have your, you can pick, you can choose who can see your post, you know, friends only, friends of friends, friends of friends, you want to take a picture of the meme, of course, so you share it, okay. And yeah, so friends in the CIA, just the CIA, because the CIA are going to watch you either way. So yeah, so that's, I believe that's more about it. But, yeah, but I want to actually talk about something just to finish this off. Which was, I actually believe this meme culture, or like our generation, I guess like the millennial or whatnot, like tons of people call us the ADHD culture, because like you guys said as well, we have the attention span of I don't know, we cannot actually look at something or read something for over, I don't know, for over like 3 minutes sometimes. People skip and skip and skip, which is one of the reasons why I actually stopped writing such really long and emotional posts and very serious stuff, etc., etc. And especially since as well, sorry to go back to that point again about the whole emotional posts and all the people that, they were completely desensitized. All these memes are actually there because people are desensitized. The whole world is desensitized to bloodshed and to war and to everything we find just inhumane and disgusting. The whole world is desensitized. Guys, Trump is president, and I don't want to, of course, say Mr. X in Cairo and Egypt as well, but yeah, so everything just turned around through, you know, through polarization, etc., etc. But yeah, so there we are, I guess, and I honestly think as well, yeah? Oh, okay. Questions? I'm pretty sure nobody's going to ask me questions anyways. Okay. Just to end this off, I've been having a creative block with memes recently because with all seriousness, what's going on right now in Egypt is a meme on its own. You can't meme a meme. So the reality has become a meme, and it's really depressing. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Okay. Great, Chidi. Thank you so much for saving us and joining us today. That was fun. And I want to show you guys just one last film of 5 minutes coming from Syria. And for me, it just shows how, I mean, out of this very, very depressive situation in the Arab world, like with, you know, all the massacres and displacement and sadness, like, we laugh. I mean, there is coming this beautiful art. So can you see this film about this little boy?
مرحبا، أنا إيمان. مقتنع. طلعت براسي فكرة اختراع خارق ممكن يغير لي حياتي. عايش مع رفيقي، ما بعرف شو اسمه، لسه ما سميته، بس مشكلته إنه بيحب الهدايا والحكي كتير كتير كتير. بتواجهني صعوبات كتير بس بستحمل. وقت اتعب كتير بعرف شلون كافئ حالي بأكتر شغلتين بحبهم مع بعض، التلفزيون والفروج المشوي. هي الآلة رح تخليني أحول المحارم من الحالة الساكنة للحالة المتحركة، يعني محارم خارقة.
ما رح أخلي حدا يأذيني أبدا.
أهلي أنا إيمان، عمري 11 سنة، صار لي سنتين ببيع مع حالي، بتمنى أكون مخترع.
This is just an example of the Syrian art. I mean, it doesn't have. We don't have to see like 2 hours of destruction and like basically like a long news clip. Like sometimes a film like this can tell the Syrian story, and it's amazing that, you know, out of the failure, if we can say so, of the Arab revolutions, and where politics have completely failed us, art, you know, is saving us, is telling the story. I'd like to close with this note, and I think we have time for maybe one question. Anyone? No? We're good? Okay. We have time? Okay. Any questions? No questions? Okay, is there anything you want to conclude with? No? Thank you very much. Thank you, Shady Noor. Thank you, Farah Wael. Thank you, Peter Snowdon and Lina Attalah. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.